There's something of interest here that's on a crane. It's got a big arm, and whatever it is secured, it's strapped down, and it may be wrapped in tarps. And I think this is indoor. It may have been originally picked up somewhere else and then transported. The idea I get is that this is in a big structure. Like, the structure is as big as a warehouse or even a hangar. And when this was brought here, it was an operation where they didn't want people to see it. They wanted to get it in quickly. So it was done in the early morning hours. It was brought in, and there are people guarding this all around, outside, inside, and they've got an area. Let me draw this differently because the way the people interact with this. Anyway, that's my object of interest, is this crane lifting an object, and it is damaged somehow. It made the idea of like wreckage, crash retrieval type thing. Oh, that doesn't want to work for me. Okay. This is always fun. This is a big structure. They've got floodlights up here set up. There's fluorescent lighting. It's old style lighting. It's harsh lighting, but they've brought in some kind of like floodlights to illuminate something that's behind. They erected barriers like tarps. It's like a more than sheets. Tarpaulin is the frame that comes to mind. They made a frame, and then they hung tarpaulins, tarps, so that whatever's going on is behind there, so everybody can't see it. But just to get access to here, there are guards out here. Like, even to get in the area of this building, you have to go through a security checkpoint, and then only certain people can come in here. And then there are other people with roles in here that some are guarding it and checking security. Others are doing work. There are people that need to have specialized knowledge to be here and do certain things. And there's a guy, let me draw one of those old style hats, like that, and then it kind of is soft up here, and there's an emblem or rank here. I can't quite see it, and it's got one of those brims. Not a policeman hat, it feels more like military hat. And this guy is he's ostensibly in charge. He's got some kind of rank here on his shoulders. and he's mad. He is hopping mad. He is yelling at people. He's ripping them a new a-hole. And what he's mad about is the security at this scene, because he's saying, you had no security. You're commingling people that shouldn't be commingled. There's supposed to be a, what's the word, a compartmentalization on this. So somebody's telling him, but we had to have the crane operator, the guy that knew how to use his equipment. You wanted this unloaded right away. We didn't have anybody with a clearance that could do that, so we brought him in, but we didn't brief him, but we told him not to look, and he's just chewing them out big time. And then there are people here with the clearance to see what they're going to see, and there's over here with the knowledge that they need to know, but they don't know how to do the manual stuff that needs to be done to get this ready. And then there's guards, and the guards don't have the level of clearance, and who's going to guard the guards? And he's just calling this whole thing a shit show. Like, God damn it, who let them in? Said, well, they had to be in to do this. And he's saying, but they don't, what did they see? Who talked to them? This person's not supposed to talk to this person, and this person's not supposed to see this person, and this person's not supposed to be in here. And he's just like throwing up his arms, and there's going to be hell to pay, and it's probably going to come down on his shoulders. So it's a scene in a warehouse with something behind a tarpaulin, and there's a lot of people doing tasks that something needs to be done, like something's got to be unloaded, something's got to be studied, something's got to be secured, something's got to be documented. They're worried about the documentation, who documents it, like who are they going to show that to. It's a high level of secrecy, and they're just mad because it's gotten out of control. This was done on the fly. It was done fast. It was done without prior planning. Piss for performance, that saying in the military. So it's got to be secured. It's got to be cleaned up, but they've got a job to do behind the tarpaulin. So that's the human emotion, is lots of different people, lots of different levels of knowledge and clearance, lots of different levels of skill. And I got an idea of a young guy over here, and he's in a uniform, and he's got one of those baseball type caps on, military caps, young, short hair, fresh face, maybe not that young, but he's got a technical skill to do this, and they're worried about people like that talking about what they saw. So, and his name is like Joey, and there's somebody else with the name Dennis that was involved in this, and they're worried. Joey's father was in the military too, and he talked to his father about this, and they sent him to, he got in trouble for it. They put him in a cell for a while, and then they shipped him out to the Arctic Circle, like a base called Gillifar, something. He's got L's in a UK, Gillifar or something. And he got sent there because they were afraid he was going to talk. So don't cross this guy, and a real scene of out of control, and they need to bring it under some semblance of control. That's the thing they're interested in. They're standing around, and they're looking at this thing. The energized energy power plant, propulsion, engine, but they don't know if it's an engine. They don't know quite what it is. It's about that big, and it may have 3 little things down here and a couple of fins. It's pretty compact. It's very heavy. When they get next to it, they don't feel well. They're afraid of it. It's like they don't know if it's on or off, if it's energized. It has a field. And I don't know how I don't think they're even sure how to detect it, but they can sense it, probably being in physical proximity to it, because they get woozy. Their vision goes wonky if they're too close to it. But it doesn't have an on or off switch. They don't know if it's energized. They may have put a Geiger counter on it, electronic things that sense EMF waves. I think they're using all kinds of little sensors, try to figure out what this is and how it works and what to do with it and how to move it and how to do it safely. They're worried about safety is like, if they do something wrong, is it going to blow up the world? Is it going to ignite? Is it going to fly off? But that's the key thing, that they want to know how it works in terms of propulsion and power plant and folding fields, folding gravity, folding dimensions. It folds something that's really important to them. That's the big prize. That's what they were concerned about, and that's the thing that's now behind the tarpaulins. And they're like, they got it out of the wreckage and they don't know what to do with it, how to move it safely, how to study it, or what to do with it. They're stumped, but they're supposed to know. So that's the thing of interest. And when layers, This is really hard to describe what I'm seeing, what I'm perceiving, because I see a bunch of layers, and I don't really get a sense of the X and Y axis, like how far out this way or this way it goes, just that there are different layers. So I can't sense the edges, but I'm trying to graphically represent something that this is like a two-dimensional depiction of something that I'm experiencing in the third dimension, but I think what I'm perceiving involves a whole bunch of different dimensions that are stacked like layers. Okay, you understand that? I see layers, and there is a tunnel through them. There's a hole. And this thing that we're interested in, that the propulsion system, the power plant was connected to, has the ability, if that's the thing, it can traverse these like it's in one layer, and then they can move to another layer by going blip. And the sound that it makes is not a sonic boom. It's like my Fender Twin Reverb amp when I plugged it in, and you plug your guitar cord into a electric amplifier. There's a little hum and then a pop. Nip. And that's the sound it makes when it goes to a different layer. And it does it and with a frequency change. It's a harmonic, speaking of music, there's a harmonic frequency change, so it just has to alter its vibrational state frequency-wise, and it can go boom and pop and go zip, and it comes out in this other layer, which is actually another dimension. So it's I would need to be Michio Kaku, understanding not relativity, but multidimensional string theory physics, to explain exactly how that worked. But it can pop to different layers, and this tunnel would be what they call a wormhole. And that's the best I can explain that, but I can see all that when I close my eyes and bilocate to this target. One of the most complex things I've ever seen in remote viewing, and I hope I explained it. I don't think it's possible for me to understand or perceive the edges of these layers, but I can see them stacked on top of each other. So another one is here, and there's one right here. And if you can use something to just change frequencies, you'll be at the other layer. And it's a wormhole. So if this is a UFO target, if I can recall this visual, this will be good, because I'm amping myself up right now. This is not easy. These cameras going and the lights and everything. Okay. Last night I decided I'm going to set up the cameras and the whiteboard and try to do a whiteboard session. So at that point, I was all relaxed. I said, yeah, I'll do a whiteboard session. I closed my eyes and I friggin' saw the visual, like right there. I bilocated like that. And I'm gonna try to see if I can make that happen on demand. Here we go. G7N3 L2 H8. 1 byte, everybody knows the rules. That's an inside joke. Okay, wait. G7N3 L2 H8? Yeah. Okay. I didn't really see it. I could just, okay. It's not video on demand. Okay. G7 N3. Okay, G7 N3 L2 H8, structure 1. This was the first thing I saw when I did this session. G7 N3 L2 H8, G7 N3 L2 H8, G3 N3. Okay. Okay. Oh, fuck me, man. Fuck. Oh, okay. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. It's like the undercarriage. Yeah. Yeah, it's big. And I brought some colored pens because, damn. It's, the colors are like bright but diffused at the same time. And there was a bunch of them. Oh, man. Well, they're too, the lines are too distinct. It's more of a, like a smear of color. It's smeared but really bright, and it's, yeah, bluish, greenish, reddish, orangish, not so much yellow, but that's the pretty much overall thing. And then there's a shimmeriness to it. It's like a force field that's the same shape as a craft. So there's an energy field here. Let me step back and see if that's pretty much a big ass UFO as I'm underneath it, and it's like they say, well, if you look up in the sky, would it be the size of your thumb? Would it be the size, you know, of like no, it's like, oh, and it's very beautiful. There's a inner circular thing here, but this light ray sounds, not a lot of sounds. If any sound, it would be like the sound of an amplifier that's turned out like a Fender twin reverb. When the house circuit is a little noisy, just a little, that sound. But beautiful lights, and it's a big ass thing. I mean, it's like so. That's what I saw. We'll see if that has anything to do with the target. If that's deemed target data, well, that's amazing. The lights, I didn't quite capture the smear of this light. Now, here's an important point. This thing to me seems, well, obviously it's energized. I mean, there's energy in every which way coming from it. There's a like a field, a shimmering field around it, and then this type of energy, multicolored dazzling beams coming down, and the thing's big, so it's intact. It's really big. Like some of my paper session, and I'm going to do a little bit more of this on whiteboard, had them lifting something with a crane, but I don't think they could lift it. You'd need a big, what size crane would you couldn't lift that with a crane. It would have to be a component of it. Or maybe, my feeling was something else that I saw was damaged, and this is not damaged. So maybe it's a smaller thing is associated with this or comes out of it. Like this would be the, I don't want to say mothership, but the mothership, and something else crashed and they were retrieving something from that. But that's a big puppy, and it's very energetic, and it's yeah, there we go. G7N3-L2H8. Woo! Lordy, lordy, lordy.